starts with noise first.
I think it was I got in touch with you through MySpace of all things.
Possibly.
You've never been going that long.
No.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
No, this is when MySpace was dead. But I was just like,
gotcha.
No, it was my Plenty of Fish account, wasn't it?
yeah, that's what we were very proud of. No, I was just a really big fan of some of the stuff that Graham had done, so just messaged him out of the blue really and said let's meet up and have a jam, and that's pretty much.
Yeah.
First practice was.
They couldn't get rid of me after that.
Yeah.
I started playing guitar at school. I got a guitar for Christmas, and Richard Burke got a bass guitar, and we were going to be Nirvana or Pearl Jam or whatever, and we used to meet in each other's living rooms or bedrooms, and he had a Walkman. And he'd record us doing these dreadful covers of things like Them Bones by Alice in Chains and things like that, and I'd be putting on a sort of a pastiche of Eddie Vedder sort of vocal or something like that. And and then Stephen Kelly, who's also like drummer in Starries, he happened to be in my tutor group, so we used to go to the a Duke of Edinburgh.
Oh yeah.
Like centre, and they had like a place where you could pay a quid, and you'd be interrupted mid-recording by someone coming in to bring you cups of tea.
Me and Steve were in the same athletics team at school.
He was better than me, yeah.
And the same band before, but we didn't know
I was in the band together.
until we split up.
Yeah.
Happens with bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
That's it.
We survived.
And so you came to be the Double Happy.
We did.
Yeah?
We did.
Yeah, overnight.
I've got a really horrible checkered past. Quite honest, checkered in that kind of awful scar way. I played in loads and loads of bands over the years.
We all met at college.
Yeah, we like music.
I don't know.
It's not a weird start because we were a 4-piece, and then
we kicked someone out.
and then we dropped to a 3-piece, which is what happens when you lose one person from 4, and then we sort of changed the sound a bit.
And then we just got sick of
It took forever to get anything going, didn't it? Yeah.
I started Distorted Tapes. Seems like yonks ago now. But basically, at the time, I was between bands. I'd finished uni, come back to Telford, but I was going to a lot of gigs in Birmingham, Wolverhampton, seeing a lot of bands, and just felt that no one was celebrating them, no one was writing about them. So it started off as a blog, just writing about the bands, and then it snowballed. I started putting on some gigs myself, and then I decided, you know what, I want to put a record out, and who better than Goddamn at the time. I'd known them, all the lads, for some time, and it just seemed like the best band to waste a load of money on. So that happened, and it was coming up to around that time that I think you contacted me to start the band, and and then Distorted Tapes and Wax Futures were both a thing, and I tried to have a life as well at the same time.
Goddamn started because Myself and Ashley were in a kind of an indie pop band, and our bassist moved to Australia, and we were really good friends with Dave Copson, a good friend of ours at the time, and we basically wanted to make a noise and wanted to piss off as many people as we could. We were kind of fed up of writing indie pop songs, and major labels, well, not major labels, but like management and all this, that and the other telling us how we should write our songs, and we just wanted to annoy as many people as possible, and if anybody was interested, we're happy for them to tag along.
So yeah, Bad Girlfriend and Conor Hemming, where did that come from?
It came from me running around town making noise, and people seemed to enjoy it, so I was like, well, I've had enough playing on my own. Might as well get a couple of other reprobates together and see what happens.
Last century I was in a band called Baxter, who released a couple of 7-inches on Bear Ross and an album, got played on John Peel, which was quite nice.
Loads of fame.
I know, yeah. Got played by a dead bloke. And that kind of ended because one of us was going to die of a drug overdose, or we were all going to beat the shit out of each other, and we decided friendship was more important. We then got back together and a similar outcome happened.
Well, I had been in a band called Mavis Tuesday for quite some time, and then I wasn't in the band, we broke up, and then I was in another band called Cat Dog Cow that was very short lived, and then I wasn't in a band for about 2 years, and it was getting to me, so I decided to form a band, and I asked this wonderful man if he'd like to play bass for the band, and then A Pig Called Eggs was born.
Goddamn was actually the first kind of proper band order I did, and of like 30 t-shirts or something, and now obviously they're just ordering a few more than that, so there's bands that we printed for right at the very beginning which are kind of now kind of coming into something a little bit more, which is quite exciting, and yeah, it's really nice.
I was in a band called Magic Bullet Theory that virtually everyone I've met since didn't bother going to see. Strangely renowned, yet no one had a clue what we sounded like. I think we probably had a hard time. We weren't. And then I did nothing for ages.
It's all your fault. Yeah, Facebook.
Is it Dave, was it Dave's page? Dave's like
math rock group on
Facebook.
Basically, I spent like. Can we start with a story? I spent like 6 months going on Join My Band, which is the worst website ever. It's basically 16-year-olds.
If you're looking for like Black Veil Bride cover band,
or like a blues band, that's it. So obviously I found like one person that was into math rock that was like some really weird postman who like came round my house, and I was
what if he's watching
get out. Hi. And that was like, he was just really weird, so I kind of kicked him out of my house, and and it was literally my last attempt. I was like, I'm gonna post on this group, and if I get no answer, I'm giving up music, selling all my gear.
We both responded on the same day.
Yeah, within about 5 minutes.
We went for a jam at Ravanna's, where like most bands are born in Birmingham. And we just clicked kind of immediately. We had like some pretty good, well, we say pretty good, it's alright. Some pretty good stuff that we jammed out and stuff. Ben kind of come up with like one riff, and we all kind of contributed, and then it sounded pretty good. So we just
kept on doing that, basically.
Yeah, we just kept doing that every week and funding Rob's Empire more and more.
Well, I went to uni with Jack Parker, who was on my course.
Gotcha.
And I was doing music journalism like as a hobby. I've been doing reviews since I was like 15. So he put me in touch with Rich and was like, you should speak to this guy, you should start looking at local gigs, like get into local bands. So started speaking to Rich, and then ended up pretty much running the site for a year. So It's really good, really enjoyed doing that.
It started about 8 years ago, I suppose, at the Sunflower Lounge. And we sort of just started putting on bands that we wanted to see in Birmingham that we didn't think would come into Birmingham. So I'm trying to think of the first few. Foals, we were lucky enough to put Foals on first, which is a good starting point.
From there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we had like a run of shows there, and then started like a weekly night at the Yardbird. This was, I can't even think when this was now. But it was a free entry gig.
Wednesdays, wasn't it? Wednesday nights, was it?
Yeah, we had this whole like pre-snobs, like everyone will come to the yard. But obviously, it was a jazz club, so it was kind of a little bit weird.
It was very hard
because you can't conventionally sound check in there. You're kind of sound checking in an open pub. But we put some really good stuff on there. They gave us a budget to put on acts that we kind of wanted to see. And yeah, then we started kind of eventually doing stuff at the Victoria, which I worked for back in the day. And then we moved on to the Hare, who we now work for.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's kind of gone from there really. I think Hare and Hands is generally where we do our gigs now. I think it kind of suits what we're about, and there's the 150 cap room and 250 cap room, so we can step people up. And kind of still like, you know, the smaller venues as well, but yeah, I think it all started back at the Sunflower.
Yeah.
The glory days. Yeah.
It's not so swank as it is now, though.
I know, yeah. Doesn't do soul food now.
Mine is the most interesting story. I've never been in a band before I met up with these gobshites.
Kieran Kieran Duffy, the singer in Dust Bastard, was in a band called Untitled Musical Project, and Kieran's from Stafford and I'm from Stafford. He moved down here because Ump are doing pretty well, and then at the end of it he phoned me when I was at work and said, I'm going to leave, do you want to do something heavy? And I was like, yeah, I'll leave my band too. Then so I did, and then I think he ultimately at the end of it he didn't actually want to be in a band anymore. I think he would become a bit of a circus because those gigs were really, really brutal. Like really, Kieran, I've never seen anyone behave like that, and I think it took it out of him, and people expected that every time they saw us play, so he just called it quits, and we tried to drag it on. And then me and Greg did the final Das Bastard gig, which was a farewell to the Basement Bar in town. So it was me and the drummer Ike and Greg, and I suppose really essentially that was the first Wolves gig, but with Das Bastard songs. So
it's alright, yeah, we get gigs now, it's quite nice. Got a little CD. I forgot to bring a copy, to be fair. I was going to bring one.
Oh. You always going to lock up the gig or not?
Well, no, the camera's rolling.
So we'll superimpose an image of the CD over the top.
Brilliant. But yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It's as hobbies go, it's pretty fucking enjoyable, to be fair.
The beer. He prefers the beer. I like the music.
Yeah.
It's a left old fashioned. Well, no, it didn't used to be left wing. It used to be all the rage. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
But alcohol these days.
Volume. horrendous volume. I mean, I should know much better. We shouldn't be that loud, but you know, to a certain extent, that's where the power comes from on a stage. Particularly, you know, I mean, obviously for the audience, it's not always pleasant. Yeah, I honestly, I think I would say volume.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we can come together as three people and write something and then deliver that to a lot of smiley faces that are jumping around and going mental. A little egotistical, I know, but it feels like there's a sense of accomplishment. You know, you're noodling away on your guitar and then you noodle away with a drummer and a bassist, very handsome bassist. Coming together collectively and producing something great that we all enjoy playing.
I like it when bands have that like spark of energy. Like, again, it's when it depends on the crowd as well. Like, you can have a really good live band, but if the room's half empty and the crowd aren't connecting, then it's not going to be as good.
making a load of noise.
Yeah, I guess.
I think being in a band, it's one of those things that it gives you license to be a bit of a tool. Like you can kind of, if you're on stage and you're holding the instrument, then you can kind of get away with stuff that you can't, like when you're working 9 to 5 in an office. It is very much just kind of a stress reliever. Just it's you get a bit of a buzz, and especially when the crowd are into it. Like you can play a show and it can be a bit kind of like buzzkill because no one's into it, or there's the bartender and his dog are just looking at you like, go
it's
away,
like a common
please.
theme tonight.
Yeah, those shows can be a bit difficult, but then I think like, well, if I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? I'd be sitting at home watching yesterday's Corrie or something. So to me, I'd rather be playing a show than not. So
I think it's a nice sort of chance to be someone else for like half an hour as well. Like I don't know what it is, but when we start playing, I just go to another world almost. Sometimes it's really strange, but that's what I get the kick out of the most, is just being able to just do whatever I want.
I enjoy that we get to order pizza.
Yeah.
And eat pizza.
I think it's sort of like the expressiveness of it.
Yeah, I like shouting at people.
Oh yeah, because every show is with us. Every show is different. We don't know what's going to go wrong or what's going to go right, which is like we're always like on edge the whole way through.
We have a consistent live show.
And I keep being told, like, or saying between the three of us, that we always talk for too long, but I don't know, which pisses him off. But then when I mention that to people outside of like musicians and stuff, they say, but that's what we like about you guys, that you can just talk a load of nonsense on stage, and like it's funny. You're not just going, and this is the name of this song.
We have so many long songs, and we only have like a short amount of time to play them.
Yeah, we're not very good at writing short songs, so I mean, being able to express ourselves, I think, is the fun side to it as well.
It breaks all kind of social rules, I guess. You can jump out of the audience and bump into people, scream in people's faces, and punch people if you want. I mean, I'm not going to punch anyone unless you're in peace or swing deep. But that's about it.
That's going in. That's definitely going in.
We sort of sat and rehearsed songs for like almost a year. Like you wouldn't believe it when you see a live show because we're terrible. But like we spent like ages writing all these songs and then to finally release them and see if anyone likes it, to get a good response is like, okay, someone else actually thinks that'd be good. Yeah, that's the aim. We'll get there. But like you all love the songs, but the question is, does anyone else want to listen to them? And when you find out that at least maybe one person might.
Then,
Dave. Dave from Sunshine Frisbee will come to our gig. Yeah, and that's that's a year's worth of work.
Just playing, smashing the shit out of that kid.
Yeah. I always think about that, like Jimmy Carr joke, when he's like, if you've entertained one person, then you've been shit.
Yeah.
It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
If that one guy enjoys it, then you probably sucked, but at least that one guy thought it was good.
Here you go. It's your takeaway.
The 30 other guys that did fuck all and just stood there staring at you. Well, I don't know. Fuck 'em.
What I enjoy is, and again, it's so lame to say, but it's making friends. Like, I think
that's pretty lame.
It is really so cheesy, but that is the most beneficial part that we get from playing shows, is actually establishing human connections. And I think even when we've been booked to play shows in other cities and we've never met the people, you then go and you make friends with the people, and then you have like someone that you can always count on and you can always call back on that person. And I think that is the best thing that you should get out of playing shows, is meeting other people and being social.
Well, I've seen other bands as well.
Yeah,
that's the best thing
Make
I've been
friends.
booked for a show, is watching other bands play before or after.
do love the Flapper a lot.
Yeah.
It's the right amount of dinge.
We've got a really nice like relationship with Carl and Sammy.
Yeah.
And it just seems like we can go to Sammy and say we want to put this band on, and she's like, yeah, cool, because she knows how we work and we know how she works, and it just sort of nice relationship with them there. Yeah.
Our first gig was playing the Jagged Rock Lounge, which is the rebrand, which they don't do anything there now.
No, they're fucked it off.
So that's gone.
There's the trouble, because there's a really vibrant, wonderful like scene. Dare I use the word, but scene in like Wolverhampton, and there's fuck all places to play, and it's annoying.
I do like the hair, but although that's kind of probably being a bit lazy because it's just right around the corner. But it does always kind of sound very good. Just feels like a nice venue. But then there's lots of sort of spaces where you might have like one-off gigs pop up every now and then, which I find really interesting. So stuff that I've seen at the Ort, which has got some really interesting kind of empty factory spaces and stuff going on. Again, stuff into some of the art spaces and Digbeth and stuff, and it can be quite interesting. Kind of just makes it a bit more of an occasion sometimes if you take it out of a normal venue. I realise that's a kind of nightmare for sound engineering and all of those people, but you know, I like it.
Sunflower Lounge. Sunflower Lounge is it's home for everyone, I think. It's like, it's in the centre of everything. I've passed out there a million times. It's home, cheap there.
Was he ever there when there was the pole?
When there was a pole?
There used to be a pole on the stage.
No, I'm only new. I'm relatively new. I'm only just turned 19. Badly.
Bless you.
Badly, I know.
Mate.
I mean, locally, the Hare and Hounds. Worked there for a long time. It's a great venue. Great PA, great shows. The Sunflower Lounge is really on the up and up. That's cool. Sweaty little basement place. That's cool.
What comes with a great venue is, you know, more people and quite often better PA systems. So, which, you know, it's a ball ache for me because I like having it loud, and there's this juxtaposition of playing a small venue and you've got to turn it down to play a small venue. But there we go. That's science and physics and maths. I've got to thank for that. So there we go. Well, when I'm thinking of a gig in my head, I'm thinking of, you know, little venues like the Flapper or the Sunflower Lounge.
I remember every gig that anyone played at the Flapper on Firkin back in the day used to be a sea of people. And the last time I played there with Starries, it was again a sea of people because it was a Johnny Foreigner album launch, and it was just there was people queuing down the stairs to get into the room. But yeah, I used to love the fact that at the Flapper we were pretty reckless with our instruments, and we'd be drunk, and I'd throw my guitar out into the audience and just let people play it out in the audience, and then I'd sort of be wading through the audience with, you know, I don't know, crawling around on the floor or whatever.
I would say Flapper.
Yeah.
I really like that place.
I've always liked the Sunflower Lounge in Birmingham. It's just got a really nice intimate, you know, it's quite, you know, quite a small, nice intimate atmosphere. The Flapper's cool as well.
I like the Flapper. Yeah, I really like the Flapper. The Flapper's good.
Flapper's always a good turnout as well, and good sound and everything. Yeah, and Hare and Hounds as well, but we haven't played that.
No, we haven't played that. I really like Mothers as well. Like,
I think it's like a surprise venue.
Yeah. I think with I've played in quite a few venues. I used to live in Cardiff before, and sort of Oxford and stuff like that. And I'd probably say Mothers, out of all the places I've played, is the best on stage sound. For me, it sounded perfect. And same with the Flapper's really good as well. Just really good on stage sound. So
yeah,
I really
liked it. Really surprising, wasn't it?
That's the thing with Mothers is it's you don't go in there expecting good sound, but it is.
Yeah, normally when you play gigs, it's always the sound's a bit washy sort of thing, you know. And Mothers, I didn't really. It felt like I was playing with headphones on. You know, it was really good.
Mothers Studio we played a few times. Really good.
I like Mothers Studio.
Good audiences into music.
Yeah,
which is always helps.
I think I'd quite like to play in the Symphony Hall. I think that would really suit us.
Yeah.
They've got really good acoustics in there.
Yeah. You don't get mad Spanish cleaners though in the Symphony Hall, do you?
No, that's true.
Whereas Mothers has got
they've got
that guy.
They've fulfilled that demographic.
The legend that is.
He was trying to tell me about God last time I was there.
He does that.
I told him that religion was all bullshit.
Yeah.
And after that, he was telling people that religion was all bullshit.
Obviously, the hair's great because the PA is so good in there, and even back of house hair's amazing, like the backstage rooms and showers. So like when we wanted to step it up and put on touring bands, it's perfect for that, and it does retain that old school boozer vibe to it as well, and people are always a bit surprised because it's in King's Heath and you don't necessarily expect kind of this like quite vast pub when you're inside it. And as I say, I think the fact that like the sound for a lot of our bands, because they're quite sort of lo-fi and punky, which is kind of great when like it's packed in the Sunflower or these smaller venues and whatnot, but I think sometimes it's really good to put production onto so people can hear those sounds really well, and I think that's probably our favourite in terms of that sort of size. I suppose we like just feel like I'm talking about the Heron House and the Sunflower here, which does show there's a bit of a lack of venues in Brussels. But we used to put on really good shows at the Victoria as well.
We went and had a look at Mother's Studios the other day as well, and I think the space there's really good space. I think we'd like to put a show on there at some point. The right show, hopefully. I think that's got potential to be a really good space.
The little Civic, back when I was up there, that was fun.
It's not technically Midlands,
but it's East Midlands. Middleish lands.
As long as you're not talking about London, it's fine. Really.
London, where's that?
It's another planet, basically.
I think so.
It's expensive.
Well, I spend a lot of time at the Sunflower Lounge, but that's just because like everyone works there and it's just sort of our local hangout. Hare and Hounds is always good for a gig.
You know what? I think the Haygate going home, the Haygate. If anyone that's from Telford will have played the Haygate, and most bands that are probably in the Midlands at some point have either been there, played there, or passed through.
Or you can take them way out of Telford.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a soft spot for that place. The cheap plastic skeleton hanging behind the bar. The
ridiculous drum riser.
The massive drum riser that means the drummer's in the ceiling.
We always had great gigs at the Actress and Bishop. Like there were some sort of really good nights there. We always seemed to sort of go down well there. There was one night where we played at I think it was a tropical hot dog night, and we were first on the bill. And no one. It was packed out, but no one seemed to be bothered that we were playing. Like no one was just like. When you come to the end of the song and you think that was brilliant, and then like there's one person going like that. It's one of them, and then we went to like the Actress and Bishop, and we were to do a headline set. After all of us coming off stage, we were like, we played well. Like we were confused. It was like we played well, but no one seemed to enjoy it. So like we were kind of relaxed, the most relaxed we've ever been on stage, and like absolutely smashed it at the Actress that night. That was a good one. Nuneaton was a great gig. Like there were fights kicking off and like bricks coming through the window. The Nag's Head.
Christ, I played there as well.
Yeah,
that was mad.
Yeah, it was
weird venue.
Yeah,
I really like playing the Hare and Hounds venue 1 specifically. It's a great sound. It's a really good stage. It's got a lot of space on it, and it's high up, which is useful. It feels like a gig. And I like the Sunflower. We've had good gigs there. I like the Flapper. That's been really important to us actually. We had a first gig there. We've been there quite a bit, and we did Off the Cuff and stuff. The last Off the Cuff actually. Then Mothers is starting to come up, and that's been quite enjoyable, especially since that's where our lock-up is. It's nice to see a bit of a hub around that place.
Open
used to play around Solihull, and then we made it into town, and we played at the Black Horse in town. It was like we thought, that's it, we've hit the big time. We're playing the Black Horse in Aston, and I think we turned up like an hour late, and we got so drunk that we never got invited back, and that was the city off limits to us then. And then that was it. Yeah, I went to university. The guys formed the Starries while I was at university, and then I came back. They'd been asking me to come back. I came back from uni, and they'd given me a tape of stuff to learn. They were like all like 8-minute instrumentals, like sort of like weird, slinty, shellacky weirdness. And I learnt all this stuff. Came back, and they were like, "Oh yeah, all that shit. We ditched it. So we're not going to do that anymore. So you've got to learn a whole new set," which we did. And then I played one gig at the Railway. I don't know whether you remember the old Railway in Digbeth. And then the second gig was at the Temple Bar Music Centre in Dublin with Idlewild and a band called Wilt, which is Cormac Battle from Curb Dog's band. And like,
that's a progression.
Yeah. So that was quite a good second gig.
The reason I wanted to be in a band from the get-go was there was a band called the Starries who are reformed in a different kind of style, but I remember going to one of their shows. There were about 12 people there at the old, was it the Railway Inn or the old Railway? Yeah.
The loudest pub in the world.
Which is now where Millennium fucking Point's been built on top of. And there's about 12 people there. They played the most appallingly bad set ever, but it was a total fucking genius mess of noise. I think it culminated with Rich Burke, the singer and guitarist, sat behind his amp in floods of fucking tears, a bit like that classic Kurt Cobain, to bring it back to your point, picture where he sort of sat crying. It's all gone terrible, but they did alright. They got a single out for first banner eventually. And so, that just... So I've been in like a couple of bands before, but as a kid I used to play trombone, so they were like definitely not ska bands. But I played loads of jazz and orchestral stuff. Then I got hit by a car and had my teeth knocked out. So saw stuff like that, and I was like, fucking hell, guitars are cool.
Some of the best shows, probably the ones we're not really meant to be talking about, but...
Like what? The lock-up? He ain't gonna fucking watch this, come on, let's be honest, he's not gonna watch this. If he does, then sorry, we have gigs in your locker.
Probably, if we're gonna talk about it, probably the one we did with Victor.
That was pretty cool, man. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Victor. They ended up headlining out of purely because Black Veins got stuck in traffic or broke down or something.
They did. Broke down all the way from Leeds or whatever.
But yeah, Double Happy I think played that night.
They did. With his pink guitar strap.
Yeah, and then
don't know why that sticks out of my mind.
Broken Oak Duet opened.
They bloody did.
Unbelievably.
They bloody did, yeah.
You know, those sort of things we just ask people and we say just come down, have a play.
It's that whole
involved.
Yeah. It's that whole like grassroots thing, isn't it? It's kind of like they just wanted a gig.
Yeah.
They weren't bothered where it was. They just wanted one.
It's like there's no money involved, but people are still eager to come down.
I have a terrible memory, like full stop. But I always remember our gigs were like full of anxiety. Like I had terrible like stage fright, and I can't speak on behalf of the rest of the band, but like I know that Tristan goes through like or used to go through some terrible kind of like self-confidence issues, on and off stage. But which was always fed into the material, the content of the song. So like I think that like nervous energy really kind of translated on stage, or that was the idea, that it was very urgent.
There was a gig in Wolverhampton where my old band with our old drummer played with Blackfish, and I'd never heard of Blackfish before, and I was probably 17 years old, and they just kind of got like one of their first EPs out, and they blew my mind. They introduced me to a whole bunch of stuff and Birmingham and that whole kind of thing, and that was at the Planet. And Raya, who puts on It's Just Noise gigs, who's mates with all like kind of them walls and all those kind of things, she was putting on a gig and she was pissed off that we didn't sell any tickets, because we couldn't, because it was a plus 18 gig and we were 17. Yeah, that was a pinnacle gig for me. And then another pinnacle gig in Birmingham goes back to Raya. Okay, we played this Cold Rice Killer Wave gig at the Wagon and Horses, one of my favourite venues in town. And Raya said to me, she said, "You're playing too many gigs to nobody." And we're like, "Oh, we just agree to everything. We just keep saying yes, 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 yes." And they brought the whole Killer Wave, brought the whole Cold Rice scene to that gig, and there was a whole bunch of other people on that Cold Rice scene. I love completely different ball game pop music and garage rock, trashy kind of stuff. And we were supposed to be supporting Copter that night. Copter pulled out, and they were all there, like Copter, the Big Bang, Scotty, who's in Table Scraps, and there was a whole bunch of people. And that was kind of like one of the first gigs where it was like, oh, well, I kind of feel accepted by people I like in Birmingham now. And I was like, yeah, you can never play too many gigs. Yes, you can play too many gigs. You can play London too many times, you can play too many gigs. You can do that.
Playing with Trash Talk and Fucked Up was interesting because the fans of those bands are really, really aggressive. And so I was a bit terrified, and we didn't go to bed before the Fucked Up show, and me and Greg stayed up drinking cooking sherry until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was really nervous, and I was in the office upstairs at the Rainbow, and I was like saying to Ray, I can't do this is just terrifying, they're all like going to kill me. So we did it, and I went out on stage and I just looked at them all and I said, "You all look like fucking Fred Durst," and then carried on, because I thought if I give them a bit of something to make them angry, then it would be fine. So yeah, that was good memories of that one.
Yeah, Barfly in that weird place. What's it called?
That place that we're not allowed to talk about.
Oh yeah, Londinium. Yeah, we played down there with a band called Hothead Show, and it was really good.
Cool.
Well, one of my favourites from last year was at the Sunflower Lounge, and it was Dongfang, Lucen Reyes, Black Mekong, and Sudakistan. And like we were stood on the stairs for part of it, and you looked around the room and you were just like, Peace, Swim Deep, like everyone was in one band or other, and everyone was there, and everyone just clicked with it and connected it and got it, and the entire room just went mental, like everyone was spinning, and it was just such an insane thing to see. It was so much fun. Like that was probably one of the best ones last year.
I think in the double happy, I mean, you might correct me here, I don't think we've had any really bad gigs.
No bad ones.
When we used to play as the Mantle Twins, we've had a few bad gigs.
Yeah.
Was it the Mantle Twins that was in Brighton?
No, that
was it Brighton? Taunton, was it?
Yeah.
And there was nobody there.
We played in front. There was the other band and the bar staff and the gaffer.
And I even took a photograph of the street outside on the Saturday night, the High Street in Taunton, and there was nobody. There was not even a car on it.
Not a soul.
Yeah, so that was pretty bad. But the double happy gigs we've done, because we play with quite a few local bands wherever we go, it's quite a good turnout. And even if it's just the bands, it's a good laugh because we're all mates anyway. So.
Well, like Captain Sensible in your changing room.
Captain Sensible was lovely when we played with the Damned. Yeah,
that was cool.
The wall front.
That was good. That was good of us to let them do it. Really.
Well, yeah.
But we thought we'd give them a break.
You just wouldn't normally let.
Yeah.
We don't normally let people bass players into the room.
No,
not even our own bass player.
I'm not a bass player.
He knows he plays. You know you play. But no, I testify Captain Sensible is the nicest man in punk.
I think that more recently that the Mets gig was really good in August because then Wolves opened High Stewart and like we'd loved Girl Band for ages, and they were the tour support, so we were just like over the moon about it. But it was like the worst day in the world ever. It was a Monday in August, so it was like this could be like the hardest show in the world, but it was just brilliant. And I think Girl Band were just brilliant. They just really stood out as someone a bit left of centre and someone kind of sounding really original and not sounding like I loved Mets and they're still one of my favourite bands, but they kind of are what they are. You know, like the 3-piece rock band. But I think like Girl Band, it was like, Jesus, what the hell was that? What were those weird noises out of guitars that like yeah, and just kind of the whole vibe was really unique. So that was a memorable gig more recently.
I think I think some of my favourites are always the midweek ones where you don't really expect much from it because it's a midweek, but then you get the crowd. It's always made by a crowd for me. I mean, obviously the acts are important, but things like Jesse Lanza.
Yeah.
It was a Tuesday night, was it?
Yeah.
And it sold well, but we didn't think, you just think notorious Birmingham crowd. But it was brilliant. Like, everyone was just there to have a good time.
Yeah.
She absolutely loved it, and it's one of those ones where you're like, Birmingham's done us well tonight, and we have a lot of those, don't we?
Yeah.
Those midweek shows where it just works perfectly, and I think a lot of those shows are my favourite when we maybe aren't expecting that much from them, but then the crowd deliver, the acts deliver, and it's just perfect gigs.
I'm trying to think of a really bad memory.
I'm trying to think of a really bad one. Maybe the first one as a 3-piece at the O2 Academy.
That was quite bad.
And
my Sonic broke. Can't remember what broke.
Everything broke. You were using a full-size bass even though you've got tiny little hands. I'm trying to play all the old songs with Joe just playing bass like a guitar.
I'm trying to remember. There was so I did something and there was no bass for like 2 songs.
I think the review was something like they were really bad until the last song, which is that Image Burn, the first song we wrote as a 3-piece, which obviously we'd written with bass, guitar and drums in mind. But there was like a nice positive twist at the end of the review, but I'd say that's probably the worst one.
No, the Flapper show with Alpha Male and Cleft.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was my favourite show that we've done personally.
But when you support those,
I was going to say the bands were obviously like, you don't even need to say how good they are. Yeah. But they were like phenomenal.
That was like our first sort of Birmingham show as well.
Yeah, that was
like
we played that the day after our first show at the pub in Newport. Cool. So that was our second show and stuff, and that was really cool. We got a really good turnout there. Obviously, there was loads of people there to see Cleft and Alpha Male, and we got a really good response. I think the worst show, I don't even think I need to ask, is Telford, man. That's Haygate.
It was really promising.
Yeah.
We had great turnout.
I think there was like 6 people there, and we were 3 of them.
Yeah.
Bar staff don't count, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it was great because the sound man was like 20 minutes late to the gig. And he lives upstairs. He's like,
he needs to get 5 minutes pole, mate. Living room. Just like swell.
Literally just couldn't be bothered to come downstairs. So that was pretty cool. Man. Yeah.
Flapper show, I think, for me anyway. But
yeah,
definitely the best gig.
Haygate for sure.
Yeah.
If you asked us that 50 years ago, it would have been industry. Locks, chains, pottery,
still
glassworks. Yeah. It's all gone.
It's all gone.
Canal. There's something in the canal.
And why?
It's all atomic.
Fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
What you hear about other scenes is that all the bands are really bitchy and they hate each other, whereas it seems a lot more supportive in Birmingham, isn't it?
I think everyone's just really drunk in Birmingham all the time.
Yeah, decent bands.
Good bands and a good
decent damn bands.
Local scene.
Yeah.
Of bands that are all friends.
Yeah, it took a dive, like for God knows about 6 years, and then it started to pick up again. It's up and down like a bride's nightie. Yeah.
It's just good. It's good to have, friends with lots of the bands. So you put on gigs and it's not all just the same genre of music. It's all just a good mixture of music. Lots of people.
Women.
Friends.
There's another band.
There you go.
Yeah.
No partisan emotions here.
That's right. Ask me the questions again and I'll think of something else to say.
Like personally, I moved down here from up north, like in Yorkshire, in 2012, and like from my point of view, it's just great to be in a city where there is a music scene.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not that sort of crowd up north, and there's not the promoters, there's not the venues. Whereas here, you know, you can come in. There's a lot of different genres. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and to me, I think it's, you know, it's really like, I mean, it's always had a scene and it's always been known for it, and clearly it's still alive. You know, there's a lot of bands in it.
I don't know. It just feels more like there's a bigger community. Everyone's friends with everyone else. It doesn't even matter what style of music you're playing, what sort of thing. It's just everyone's just mates, and you know, it's just cool.
I mean, it is, man. It's nice. It's nice. Like I say, so if you know, if your band's just a hobby, then it's a fucking awesome hobby, because you hang out with a bunch of people that you like, that you think are cool guys. It's a bonus that they all play immense music, which I legitimately enjoy. Not even like just because they're my friends. They're just fucking good musicians.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Like I love it. I get to watch them for free, and I get to play at some point on the evening. It's great. Love it.
My band's complete feminist and all that. We're not homophobes. I'm not no one. If you're gonna come to our show, don't be a homophobe or a racist, or I'll get Ben to knock you out.
Hope not hate. That's what it's all about.
Hope not hate. Hope not hate.
Diversity, I think, is quite a good one.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of a mix. You've got like your Midwest sort of style, but you've got your other kind of variations as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of, especially in the last few months, a lot of math. I remember when there used to be loads of math rock bands from Birmingham. They used to play the Flapper all the time, and you're starting to see some more of those types of bands come through. Which has been really cool, because I think that's kind of what the scene's been lacking a bit.
Yeah, but Birmingham, I think, to an extent, dropped off a lot of kind of the, I suppose, underground DIY touring bands who were doing the kind of toilet circuit. Birmingham seemed to just drop off their roots. It was almost like, well, there's no point going to Birmingham. No one goes to shows, or no one's putting on shows, and I think that has changed, and that's a positive. I think that's a positive for everyone. It means that there's more good bands coming through, bands that people need to hear, opportunities for local bands to network, play with these touring bands, find out, you know, make those network connections so they can play in other parts of the country, and spread the words. But I think, as I said before, I think the thing that the Midlands has got going for it, which I don't think I've necessarily felt in other kind of cities and towns I've been to, is that at the moment it doesn't seem to be as cliquey as some places, or as cliquey as it has been in the past. And I think that because the promoters that put on the shows and the bands that put on, a lot of them are friends with each other and they know each other, it breaks down some of the boundaries, thinking, well, this is a hardcore show, it's got to be hardcore. Yeah. This is a rock show, it's got to be rock. This is a metal show. And it does mean that you get a bit more of a diverse billing, and that's great. I've always enjoyed going to a show where you've got 4 bands that aren't just carbon copies of each other playing a set, because you may as well just go and see the one band sometimes.
I think it seems to have become an awful lot more celebrated. People are much more aware of it now, I think. Whereas before, I think the scene for a long time, it was, people were very humble about what it was, and it existed, and a select few people knew about it if you were part of it, I guess. But it seems to have grown, and word has spread, and people are putting the word out there much more now. And I think it's people around the country are starting to pick up on it as well, which is a good thing.
To be fair, we were saying this the other day, like literally, like 5-6 years ago, there was nothing like there is now. It wasn't there. If it was, I didn't fucking know about it, but it wasn't there.
I wasn't even in any bands back then.
Exactly, me neither. And it wasn't there. Like no one I spoke to. No. You wouldn't get like a bunch of guys like us lot just get in the Slade rooms for an evening. Not at all.
I think smaller bands are able to have an actual career now. I don't think that the whole tradition of getting signed to a label and that kind of stuff is particularly necessary.
It was starting to get a bit like you had to be one of the cool bands to get like played at any of the decent events that were going on that were being monopolised by just a couple of promoters.
Scene band.
So I suppose Disaster has kind of opened up the window to let some of the other bands actually be played at good events and be seen by people and heard by people. I'm not involved in Disaster.
It hasn't actually changed that much in the way that people are cohesive, you know, on this sort of like low level, kind of like small industry level. People are supporting each other still, and people are doing gig swaps. It's nice to see the same bands cropping up on bills, you know, together. It hasn't changed that much. Like back in the day when I used to do stuff with Bear Ross Records with Alan. He used to do Bear Ross nights, and you know, Disaster nights now. It's come full circle.
So the music industry is in between business models at the moment, so it's quite an interesting time in that way, I think. You know, the pledge music thing is a really good idea. I think when it's used properly, but the thing is, you have to have enough people interested in you to pay for it ahead. But at least, you know, if you can do that, you haven't really got to bother with a label, which I think is brilliant.
I was thinking about this, and I remember when the Jug of Ale shut, and I thought that was like a terrible, terrible moment, and I still think it's sorely missed, because I thought that was a real like focus point of a real healthy, vibrant scene.
Yeah.
But the irony is that since it's shut, we've seen so many bands get signed and make it, like, you know, the Swim Deeps piece, whatever, you know. So it's changed, as in, I think not so much happens in Moseley anymore.
There used to be a lot more venues than there are, and as these things shut down or got redeveloped, a lot of the sort of venues around the town got taken over by sort of block booking, and sort of one company would own all the nights, so you couldn't, for a while you couldn't put gigs on for a good 5 or 6 years. It was really difficult to sort of book your own gigs and things, and you had to play on completely irrelevant bills. So you'd play with sort of like an acoustic duo, and then sort of Oasis sound alike, probably before some kind of rugby funk band at the end, you know. Sort of
it doesn't long bit of rugby funk.
So, but I mean, like now it seems to be using a bit. You can kind of you can put gigs on again, and you can book the venues you sort of want to book, which is looking a lot more hopeful as these things go.
You need to help each other out, you know, you do, and it's not for own personal gain. It's nice to see other people do well as well, and it helps each other, because, you know, if you play gigs together and stuff, and you talk about each other in press and share each other's videos on Facebook, and, you know, I do little blog posts, well, not so much anymore, but on the website I used to do blog posts just about other people's releases and other people's bands and stuff.
Okay.
It all helps, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just like a friendship bonded by music, you know. Just the glue that binds us.
Yeah, it's the best thing about being in a band is the friendships you make purely by being in a band with other musicians. It's like a good
meeting like-minded people.
Yeah, definitely.
Influenced in the same way. Yeah, that's how you find out about new music.
Everyone supports each other in what they're doing. like at the Yak and Table Scraps gig, I stood outside talking to Dave Cobson, who used to be in Goddamn, and he was talking to a couple of the guys in Yak because he used to be in a band with them, and then we were talking to Scott, who used to be in the Big Bang, and everyone was just talking about all these bands that they all used to be in and the venues that they used to go to that are now closed down. And even things like that where I wasn't here for any of that, I missed all of that, but that community and the groups that are going now, like everyone's still very much connected, and it's all the same sort of, it's the same sort of people, it's the same sort of, it's that connection, and like it makes you feel more a part of it as well, which makes the whole thing a lot more enjoyable.
Always used to be a lot of competition between bands.
Yeah, there
band
was a lot of like my band's better than your band kind of thing, and it was always like bands thinking we're gonna blow them off the stage. But bands just tend to just blow each other more nowadays.
Yeah, I think the thing that keeps the scene going socially and band wise is incest, really. Lots of incest going on. People, people finish with that girl, and then somebody else in the group goes out with them, and then somebody leaves that band, and then they join that band, and it's lots of cross-pollination going on.
In every sense.
Lots of incest, man.
Yeah, Greg from Them Wolves is our sound guy. He's the best sound guy around. Yeah, he's a wizard. No, I didn't realise how much of a wizard he was. Yeah. I think, do you know what? And the thing is, what I've learned is, you know all these people are all mates. And then we went on the road with Greg, and it's like, God, there's so much I didn't know about Greg. Like, it's all, and you can officially say it's a fleeting scene, because how much do you know about such and such in this band? How much do you know about this person, this person? You don't really know that much. You have, in a cynical way, and it's beautiful, but in a cynical way, you have 30-second conversations with everybody, don't you? And you don't know anybody that well until you sit in a van with them for 20 hours, and then you get to know them a lot better. But I still appreciate that. I mean, I still appreciate knowing 100 people not that very well, but it's until you've got 3-4 drinks in you, and you know everybody really well.
That's the main thing, is helping each other. And it's not everyone for themselves, it's everyone together.
Yeah,
that's what shows are for.
So we started Little Cavalier for that.
Yeah,
main reason.
We wanted to do show. We wanted shows that we wanted to see, and we wanted shows that people would want to see. Not to say that we did that yet.
I think we're doing alright. Towards the end of 2014, I think it was going really well.
People slightly start to like us now.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's doing things for people. It's not for yourself. It's for everyone.
But we do get a good kick out of it at the same time, though, which is nice.
For me, over the last kind of 12-18 months, it has felt that there's a real kind of cohesion between the bands in the area, and everyone's really supportive of each other, regardless of how many shows someone's got or who they played with or what genre they are. It doesn't really matter. Everyone's behind each other and is there for advice and support. And I think if anything, it's not the case of 2015 being the year of any particular band. I think 2015 is going to be a great year for Midlands music, and I think it's just an ongoing kind of theme over the last few years, that it's just built up and it's strengthened, and I think that's fantastic that everyone is so kind of united in their kind of aims, I suppose.
I think like an additional point is also like, I guess, kind of meeting other people as well. So I mean, we played with Alpha Male, Tea Party and Cleft, which are bands that we really fucking dig them. They're like the bands we really enjoy, and we played with Broken Oak duet. So we got to meet them, and and just always seeing Dave all over. It's great. So it's cool to just like meet people, and
it's just really an outlet to see Dave.
That's the end.
That's what it is.
Hey Dave, do you want to hang out? By the way, we're playing a bit of music.
There's a lot of mutual appreciation going on. I don't know if that's just because we only tend to play gigs with
people we like,
with bands that we like and already know a bit. And we'll even play with bands that have got members that have been in other bands we played in before, and you know, it will sort of, you get a bit, you know, there's a network builds up after a while. I've got Doctor Who socks on.
Outstanding. Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Can't get that.
Oh, it's going to go through the roof.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We just need
It's going
more
to be like
venues.
Seattle. Sub-pop.
That's the dream.
Area.
I would like to think there'd be a bit of shying away from that the B-town sound. And I was chatting to someone about this the other day about bands like Broadcast and Pram, and actually Birmingham should pride itself on kind of being a little bit left of centre. You know, that's what Sabbath were, and you know, kind of like something a little bit different. And I think if you were to sort of stray away from the it sounds like we're just like in peace off it, but you know, stray away from that style.
Absolutely.
The more chart friendly stuff, you'd see that there's 20-30 bands that could potentially have, you know, records out, and not just on, you know, self-release. You know, some national labels, you know, the smaller indie labels might pick them up, and I think it'd be nice to see more like labels and stuff come out of Birmingham.
Well, it's been growing fast over the last couple of years. There seem to be more and more. Well, like a couple of years ago, there were quite a lot of just like really noisy bands knocking about, and now that seems to be expanding a little bit. And it's not just noise now. There's you know, like a lot of the bands were sort of post-hardcore or whatever you want to call it. But now there's some you know, some post-intelligent handbag knocking about, like 4 chisels for example.
And I think the kids as well. I mean, the kids are all right, man.
Kids are all right. The kids?
Yeah, the kids.
They're all right.
Because I know a few.
Yeah.
Obviously. But since the court case, less and less. But my nephew, he's 15, he's in a band and he's listening to all the greats like Sabbath and Zeppelin. And they're sort of emulating that. Mezzotomic, nobody listens to them.
No one listens to them.
No.
I think there's certain groups, particularly sort of D-Dustera and stuff at the moment, which do some really sort of more kind of collaborative things where they've got sort of visual bits and pieces going on, and music and stuff as well. So it would be nice to see more of that kind of thing, where you have sort of a kind of grouping of artistic disciplines. Because I still feel like the kind of Birmingham art scene is quite separate, and a lot of people see it as kind of quite closed off and a bit inaccessible. That's not to say that there aren't some great things going on, but it's not kind of the same sort of level of accessibility as the music scene is. Like, I wouldn't think twice about walking into a venue, but there's certain things where I feel like I might just be a bit on my own or a bit out of my depth kind of thing. So I think it would be nice to see more bits like that. It would be nice to see the festivals grow further, things like All Year's Leaving, Birmingham Beyond that we had in the summer as well.
Big. Well, hopefully not too big, because we also happen to Seattle. You know, I mean, I don't like to compare scenes, but you know, that went tipped up straight away.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think it's good to keep on the brim of it. Kind of keep threatening people like, oh, is it? No, fucking no, man. But yeah, there's definitely some wicked bands coming out. Youth Man are playing Reading and Leeds. So you know what I mean, man. It's all going on. It's all going on.
No one wants to be Shoreditch.
No. Who the fuck? Where's Shoreditch? Who's Shoreditch? You know what I mean? Where the fuck's Shoreditch? London. I've never been to London.
I think there's always developments and trends in any scene, absolutely. But I think the sort of grassroots level of things will. I mean, that never really goes away. That always exists, I think. But it seems like in Birmingham that's becoming much more celebrated these days, and it's much more known about. And, you know, perhaps bands that wouldn't necessarily get to play to many people 5-10 years ago perhaps can do that now. there's much more people. I guess with the advent of Facebook and things like that, people can find out very easily what's going on. But so I think that side of it will continue to flourish. I think, and that can only be a good thing.
It's kind of nice that a lot of people getting into heavier music, and you hear a lot more stuff on the radio. As little as actually listen to it, but Six Music is the only one I really listen to, and I hear Slaves at breakfast and stuff like that. And so,
I like that dude out of A's rock show on Sunday.
Yeah,
is it on a Sunday? Or?
Danby Carter, yeah, it's on earlier on a Sunday evening now.
I definitely listen to it on a Sunday.
And that's something that was like, it was always post midnight, wasn't it? The rock show on Radio 1 and all that. So you just know, people are more into that, so it's given a bit more of a prime time slot.
The scene at the moment is very much like the gigs that everyone seems to go to are all like small gigs, underground bands, and that's what everyone's really into now. So I'm not sure how that's going to translate, like as they do like release albums and stuff and like start to play in bigger venues. But even the bands that are doing that, like Goddamn playing the Sunflower Lounge as a headline show for the album.
Yeah.
Like it's still the small gigs and the small venues, and it's still going to be that same kind of like intimate setting with that same sort of crowd.
People have got an image in their head of Birmingham that again isn't representative of it, or not fully representative of it, because there's so much that happens around the city. Yeah, everyone has like a pinpoint focus on 2 or 3 bands, and I think I want to say it's unfair, but it makes people brush past it. Like with having Goddamn getting to where they're going now, I think that would be great for bands like us and local, bit noisier bands than what are around. I think that's where it's going to go. Hopefully it's going to go in that direction. Back to the late 60s with Black Sabbath again. Let's have a bit more of that, where it's focused more on the sort of the heavier side of Birmingham music, which is obviously where it all began in the first place.
There's a lot of bands on more of the indie side which will probably disappear, and then when they disappear the mainstream spotlight will probably shift off of Birmingham again, I'd have thought. It happened with the Twang. There's buzz bands, and I think once you explode to like the level that certain bands have exploded to, there isn't anywhere to go, and I think it's quite a short lifespan unless you're very, very lucky, but doing it at this kind of level that we operate at, for as long as you want to go on for it, you can go on for it. You've got no one to answer to.
Don't buy flowers, they die. Make it worth the bill. We'll make it through the night. We'll be alright. I know we'll be. That's fine. Telling myself that I'll be fine if I try.
Well, we're going to try and do a little mini tour in April. We've just finished like mixing and mastering like a single.
Cool.
I'm going to put that out next month, I think.
20th of March.
And then like record an EP later in the year.
Yeah.
I think that's the general plan, and then just see how the summer goes. Basically, just gig as much as possible.
Play some more shows. We've got our first dates in Scotland next month. That's going to be fun. Going to Scotland with Bad Grammar for a weekend. Record some new stuff. Hopefully, get another single out before the end of the year.
I'd like to do some gigs again. Just get these songs that are half written, finished. Hopefully, I don't know whether we're going to release anything this year, but I'd like to think we've got a good shot at getting something out there and push it by doing some gigs.
To play gigs, write more music.
Yeah, sounds good to me. That's a good plan to have.
Print more T-shirts as well.
Oh,
yeah, we've just recorded an EP called Handsome Head, which is referring to the wonderful Wurzel Gummidge, of course.
Nice.
And we're going to release that soon.
Yeah, pyro. I want some pyro. That's the next thing. That's going to be the next evolution in the Moors Live show.
So volume and power.
More volume, more power, more pyro.
Bang on.
anyone who goes, well, my 5-year plan for this band is this, this and this, is probably being a bit disingenuous and doing it for the wrong reasons. If your plan is to get on this TV show or to do this radio session, or, you know, it loses any sparkle or...
My 5-year plan for a band, recruit handsome young bass player. Encourage drummer to grow silly beards.
We've got the EP coming out in March. We recently got signed to Jonas Lovers Club down in Cardiff, which we're so hyped about. We're really happy, aren't we? Yeah. I don't know why I used the word hyped then. I was going to say stoked, but then the word hyped came out. But no, we're all really happy about that.
Radical news.
Yeah.
Well, we want to record more, don't we? Play more gigs.
I'm going to learn to tune pianos.
Yeah. You actually were gonna?
I am gonna.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's really what I'm going to do.
Really first bit of truth, actually.
Going to do a bit more recording.
Yeah, definitely. We've got some new songs when I get down. Write more.
There might be possibly doing a what do you call it? A shared single with Tomorrow Come the Wolves.
That's the one, right? Talking about that.
We're talking about it anyway. And which we'll release to the general public and will be ignored by everyone. Yes. Yeah. As per always.
Well, we've got a recording with Shantover, and we've just put a video out on YouTube for a track called Obscured, and that's up there to watch now. But that was part of a recording of like 6 tunes, and one of them's on the Bandcamp page, and then we just got another 4 that we've just held in reserve. So cool. We're going to go back into the studio later in the year with that band, and we're just going to keep releasing stuff like bit by bit, dribs and drabs. I'm not kind of looking for a big culmination in a huge album, because because I'm not as young as I was, and it's a blessing to be able to, like, you know, when you've actually looked round and hey, I've got like another 5 tunes, another 6 tunes. We've made it. We've actually managed to do it despite all the things that are going on in our lives, kids, whatever, jobs, you know. Yeah. But just the fact that we're still doing it is pretty amazing in itself.
Same as in the year, just play more gigs than we did the last year.
Try to, yeah.
Record the new music.
We want to try and get some new recordings done. Other than that, yeah, like you said, like the man says, play gigs. Cool. Play gigs. That's how you get ahead. That's how you get out there. No one is going to give a fuck unless you can do it live. In my humble opinion.
There's so many bands, like when we played Repeater last week.
They were really good, actually.
I really enjoyed them.
They were really good. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
If they're watching.
Yeah.
They'll love it.
Hopefully they will be. Who else?
Mares of Toronto, we have to.
Yeah, I love Mares.
We have to big up Mares. Sunset Limited are really good. They're good chums of ours. That's not why we said that, of course.
Of course. I mean,
Mares of Toronto.
Very good show. We interviewed them on Saturday.
Everybody knows about Goddamn.
Well, my favourite is probably Black Mekong. Like, their live show is just, they're not like anything else that's going around. But at the same time, like, I don't think they'll break it as such. Like, they're, it's like everything they do and everything they're trying to do. Like, they're not trying to do anything with it, they're just doing what they do and enjoying it, and that's partially why it's so good.
Yeah.
But other than them, Goddamn, I guess, album this year and everything, so it's very good.
Well, there's one that is pretty obvious, but I'm pretty sure everyone's already said that. Goddamn.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Wax Future. Don't be so.
New album.
Well, yeah, I think Goddamn, you know, they've
probably already made it to a certain extent.
like I feel like so privileged to have like worked with them at such an early stage, and now to see what they're doing, it is pretty incredible to think, like, you know, at one point me and Tom were hunched over my laptop in my bedroom at like 11 o'clock in the night. Trying to design the artwork for the 7-inch and just being like, neither of us having a clue what we're doing. And now they've just kind of got everything going, and it's brilliant. But you know, I think that at the moment there's a lot of great talent.
We've heard the Sunshine Frisbee album. That's really good. So hopefully they'll have a really good year as well. You know, I think they deserve it. And we were saying, like, the record sounds so good. It sounds like we have so many bands. We always talk about this, bands we have, when we get a tour for a band, we decide to put on an artist, they quite often, you know, say, listen, we bring in a tour support with us, and, you know, this is the way we want to do it. And I kind of just think Sunshine are better than, you know, 90% of these bands that have come through as tour supports, and quite often they've been better than the headliners. So I think I'd love to see them have a good year and at least get some good tours with, you know, some touring acts, and get to play around the country a little bit more. I don't think that, you know, they'll be the next big thing or anything, and neither do I think that would they want that. I think they're more going down like an alternative route anyway, but I think I'd like to see them on some better tours. And see how the album goes, really. I think it's really good.
Birmingham bands deserve that. We always say that. There's not getting agents and the right people to come to Birmingham to watch gigs is a nightmare, and I think a lot of Birmingham bands, their strength is live as well. I think we've got a lot of really good live bands in Birmingham, and they're just not really given a chance. We've always said, this almost feels like now with your Pieces and Swim Deeps, that the industry kind of think, oh, we've got our Birmingham lot sorted now, and it's not forgotten about, but I don't think it's given the time that it should be, because I think there's a lot of strong bands.
I agree with that.
And I just think it's a shame that it's being passed over almost. And you know, we always talk to agents and push them, but I think a lot of these bands, you need to see them live to get them. And I think that's one thing in 2015 I think would be good to see, is getting some more industry and agents down into Birmingham to see that we're not just Peace, Swim Deep and all this stuff. And I think that's a really big thing. I think, you know, we're looking at doing a little Birmingham showcase down in London, and another attempt to, you know, hopefully bring the bands to them so they don't have the excuse.
Yeah, we were chatting to someone yesterday, and they were saying that it was an agent, and they were saying, last time I come to Birmingham I feared for my life. And it was like, oh, come on, man, it's not that bad.
Say, Pig Called Eggs, you might know. They're a local. They're not Wolverhampton, Birmingham, but they play Wolverhampton, Birmingham a lot.
All the guys. Black Sabbath. I like Black
They're
Sabbath.
worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds of the Summer. That is.
They're not there yet, but they're sort of climbing up the ladder.
They did a song called Iron Bloke. It's really good. It's going to be a hit.
There's plenty of bands, aren't there? There's Them Wolves, Faux Shizzles, Goddamn, you probably heard a bit about recently. And there's too many.
It's Four Shizzles, not Faux Shizzles.
It's Faux Shizzles.
Rob Allen used to be big on the scene here in Birmingham, and he used to do Little Dipper, and then he did Pet Ghosts. But he's doing a new band, which they called something, and I can't remember. But obviously, Them Wolves. If you know, they're always playing at amazing shows. They put on an amazing show. Faux Shizzles, obviously.
anyone that lives out on this street is generally quite good.
Oh,
It's where
table
where most of them live. Yeah, they're
One half
they're
the
damn
Table
good.
Scraps lives on this street. Went to see them last week with, what's the other one? Bad
Girlfriend.
Bad Girlfriend.
Nice. Yeah, brilliant.
Then Wolves, loud and full of nonsense. Love those
Youth Man
guys.
are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, we're missing loads out there.
I'm kind of a big fan of all of the kind of Black Meekin crowd and Table Scraps and that. Like, I love it musically, but I also love the kind of visual identity that they have going on as well. All of their stuff, it kind of gels together, and it's sort of like its own little thing within Birmingham. And there's obviously a big American influence, but I'm kind of quite interested in where kind of music kind of gets displaced from its original origin and kind of pops up somewhere else. So I find that really exciting. They're kind of bands whose gigs and I kind of look forward to. Really look forward to going to see. But there's always just good stuff happening. It seems to be quite healthy at the moment.
No, yeah, I definitely get there's definitely a couple of ties maybe between Elephantine, Youth Man and Goddamn. I'd say those, and then Wolves obviously. Sorry.
Of course. Rapping.
Stuart.
I think this year will be a good year for Goddamn. I mean, I've obviously worked with them, and so I kind of know what's going on really. But this will be a good year for them. Their album comes out, so I think there'll be some big things happening for them.
Their Inquiry, obviously their album's going to be out soon and stuff, and
Yeah, they've done an EP, haven't they?
you know, they're good lads and they make good music, so they're definitely one to watch out for.
I really dig Double Happy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that sound is just it's wicked.
They're
It's
very
wicked,
cool.
isn't it?
I miss them.
Because I love that helmet, like that old like metal sound that's like not really cheesy. It's just like aggressive and quite honest.
Definitely.
And they've completely captured that. And I really like that.
Youth Man, they're doing really well. They're awesome. I hear Dave Copson's starting a new band. I think you should go and check them out. I think it's with our mate Dave Jakes. He used to be in Mellotron Overdrive. I think you should go and check them out. They'll be amazing. And I think who else? Double Happy are brilliant. Pickled Eggs. All these bands I wish I could take on tour. But it doesn't always work out that way. All the local bands. Do you know what? I kind of do you know the bullshit thing about touring a lot, and when we started touring more, is the fact that I don't get to see enough local bands. That's something that kind of I'm in my element when I'm seeing local bands, and I feel like part of the community. And you don't get to do that as much when you're touring a lot. So that's the sad thing. It's bittersweet, but I'm touring and do what I want to do. Other local bands, for shizzles, we've got a new lineup. You should check them out. Wax Futures, we mentioned them. There's so many good bands.
Kind of Heavy's going to be big this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fuck, Elephantine, man. If we're rolling out, the obvious three, Elephantine, I watched them and they were like, they were noisy. They were all three of them insane musicians, man. Like the lyrics, I don't know what she's saying half the time, but I get a really good feeling. I feel like this is something good. I just want to be as good as Anna Palmer one day. I think that's it, man. That's like my goal, to be as good as her one day. I'm like, that's some sort of goal to get to.
Right, nice.
And Midnight Bonfires as well on front in there. They were top fucking band, man. Top band.
Obviously, Youth Man are moving in circles, and they are frighteningly good to watch live. They're so good. Like genuinely kind of like blown away when you see them live.
That's good, yeah. I'm sorry. It's not my ideal David Frost sort of milieu.
Well, we slagged off some bands, so
that's the fucking main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We
Still
don't want
rolling.
Thank you very much, dear boy. You're a legend.
Thinking Coke.
We didn't want to fucking go down the.
One last one. What do you think about being called Birmingham's Iggy Pop, Connor?
I think you're all cut.
Plug into this one over here.
You will die.
Yeah, you just die.
And I was going to do a thrash band. I recorded a few songs, and I actually went to a rehearsal studio to rehearse this. It was a thrash band, and I had all these thrash riffs and everything. But the lyrical content, all the songs were about a different dinosaur.
What was the question?
That's a good question.
That's a good thing at the moment. Actually, a lot of the, again, because people have been forced to do things DIY, and now we've got Do Make Say Inc, and people are able to get their own band T-shirts made. I mean, it used to be great back in the day when people used to wear Starry's T-shirts, but they were shit. But now, like the Them Walls tee is amazing. The Faux Shizzles tee, I've got one of them. I've got a Youth Man tee. Gosh, I've got 2 Wax Futures T-shirts.
Oh, me too.
So, yeah, kind of. I wear the scene with pride.
No sound bites, just bollocks.